back. It's Caitlin Hirschler. Welcome to my knitting podcast talk show, the place on the internet where I ramble and talk about all my knitting craft experiences. It's been a while since we last talked, and good reasons for that. You know, it's been a hard summer for everyone. I was laid off from a job. I'm currently job hunting. I'll update in life sections, I guess. But I'll be moving from my current house in less than a month, so I've been really busy packing, just doing everything, trying to make the most of my time left in New England. And who knows where I'm going to be moving to? That's the fun part. I move in less than a month, but the question is, where? I don't know where. I would love to know where, but, you know, we can't have everything we want. So, start off with talk about finished objects that I've done. My knitting mojo hasn't really been that huge over the summer, unsurprisingly. I don't think anyone could fault anyone for that. So one of the finished objects I was able to get done, if I don't flash you, I'm not wearing pants, is the Magpie Tendency by Skenanigans, a word that I am positive I did not pronounce correctly. This is made with Woolen Boon yarn, one of the kind of clearing out sales that she's doing of her stock right now. I love pretty much everything she makes, so I hope that she'll be back and that, you know, everything's going well with her. Other than finishing my Magpie Tendency, I did a commission for one of my Instagram friends. I made another one of the Argyle tanks out of Quince & Co. And so that was really fun because, you know, I don't think I can ever get truly tired of knitting that. I do have yarn for one more for myself, and I definitely put it in the stash to be packed away just to give myself some more distance. But pretty much besides that, and I finished another one of those rainbow socks, which I'll just pop in here just so you can see all the ones that I've done so far. But other than that, haven't finished too many things. But what I have been working on, I have my laptop in my lap for when I don't remember names and things. But what I have been working on that y'all have seen before is the Pocketful of Posy blanket by Pearl Soho. So I added in color 8 out of 18 last night. And this is it so far. So the one that's blowing out really badly, you can kind of see it there. It's a really pale pink, and then right above it is called Morning Dove, so like a pale cream color, so they're going to be hard to tell apart. Those are two different reds. A black cherry color, silver, a nice neon, and a nice peach are what we have so far. And the beginning part of like the colors of this blanket I'm not particularly a huge fan of, but I'm just going to trust the way Pearl Soho wrote it and just go with their colors. My kitty has showed up here. She is a mama's girl. She's been very needy recently, which I appreciate very much. I like all my kitty snuggles. It's also a windy day, so everything's blowing around here, so she's very interested. But back on topic, this is going to be the next color added, and I am so excited. The second half of this blanket is definitely, the colors are arranged much more in a pattern that's pleasing to my eye, and like I said, when this is all together, it's going to look just fine, but I'm wicked excited to add in this obnoxious color. It's just going to be like, what's happening? I don't know. But yeah, so that brings me on to kind of future knittings. I really have been super monogamous on that blanket. I want to get it done by the end of August would be my goal. I have not done the math to see if it's actually possible because that makes it real, and that was a cat. She's currently behind the camera, so hopefully she doesn't step in front of it because I'm not going to move her. Maybe I'll move me. There we go. This is what happens when you don't podcast in a while, but I'm probably not going to edit a lot of this because I find it entertaining and I hope you do too. So I guess like future knitting will kind of go into life stuff. I don't really have much knitting to talk about today, so if you are literally just here for like, let's look at pretty yarn and pretty knits, might not be the podcast for you, but I will be showing some more. My skin fell apart. I will be showing the yarn that I plan for future knits and stuff like that, but just haven't cast it on or started anything yet. So, like I said, I lost my job up here in May. I'm in New Hampshire currently. So at the end of August, I will be moving out of my current place and where I go is still a toss-up. I'm up for 2 different jobs. Both of the jobs I would be absolutely delighted to get. I'm waiting to hear back on both of those. One would put me in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and one would put me in Rhode Island. I'm not going to share details of because I have not accepted the job and they haven't given me an offer, so I'm not going to share that. But they're both really exciting opportunities for me to kind of grow as an engineer and learn new skills. One is more design engineer focused, another one is more material development focused, which is along the lines of what I've been doing for the past 2 years professionally. So both would be great opportunities for me. I also decided I am starting grad school this fall, and those of you who have followed me on Instagram know that was one of my big things I did this summer was, writing grad school apps, applying, and making that decision. But I'm happy to announce that I have officially chosen my grad program. I will be starting getting my Master's of Science in Sustainable Management from the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. If that's not a mouthful, I don't know what is. But I am so excited to start this degree. I did a lot with sustainability with my last company. A lot, as much as you can do in 11 months when it's not the main focus of your job. But I really discovered that I had a passion for it and I think it's essential to every business and everyone moving forward to kind of take a step back and look at the world and kind of think of what are different things that we can do to make it a better place moving forward. And that the question can't be answered with one answer. And, it's so complicated. That I realized that if I wanted to truly make an impact, I wanted to get an education and a background in it, so I could make educated decisions and educated proposals. But I'm really, really excited about that. My capstone project isn't for 2 years, but I already am kind of thinking of different things I want to do. Of course, depending on what company I'm working for at the time, I might do a capstone project with them. But I'm a knitter and I have a huge passion for the sheep and wool industry and kind of heritage breeds and what sustainable farming looks like, and getting our yarn sustainably from local mills and working closely with farmers. So that is something that's definitely on my radar for the next 2 years. So if you know any books that would be good resources for that, for me to kind of dive into the topic, let me know. I actually was inspired by another Instagram friend to get Fiber Shed by Rebecca Burgess to kind of kick off that journey in itself, because I'm really excited. I try my hardest at this point I don't usually buy new, and if I do, it's gotta be from as sustainable as possible source. I mean, it's really hard when you go into it. How is your fabric? How is your fabric dyed? Where was it made? Who made it? Are they paid well? The land that material was grown on, is it regenerative? Is it damaging the local ecology? Yes, I am holding my phone. I will not be editing this out. We're just gonna suffer and deal with it. But I'm very pleased how my freckles look today, so at least that's one thing. Oh, okay. Most of this is from the wind, so I can't take credit for it. I'm just gonna do this by holding my phone because I want to get this podcast out, because I haven't podcasted in so long and I won't before I move again. So we will talk about future knitting. So essentially, I don't know where I'm going to be moving to. If I don't get either job, I'll be packing up, moving back in with my folks in Florida for the next few months. The kitties will have a nice screened-in porch. So I'm very lucky that will be able to do that if I don't get a job, but please keep your fingers crossed for me. I'm a very independent soul. So job is definitely more on my list. But that does mean I packed up my entire stash already, and it's because I'm type A. I'm 3 weeks out, but I'm type A. But I had to choose a project I wanted to make for the next few months. I didn't know how long I was going to be away from my stash. I still don't. What was I going to want to knit? What was going to inspire me? So I kind of had to choose a variety of projects that I thought could hold my attention for the next few months, and I would be able to get through them and we really would make me happy. So that Pearl Soho blanket is definitely on top of my list. I want to get that done in August. And after that, I also packed up 2 different sweaters. The first one is, let me check my notes. It's called lamech by Chantal Laplante. And it is incredible. I'll pop a picture in over here, hopefully. But it's a really nice cropped kind of boxy sweater with a really cool gridline pattern on it. And the yarn that I have for that, I'm going to do it in similar colors to the original design, with some twists on it. It's a fingering weight pattern, but I'm going to be holding these 2 yarns together because I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. I have a weird gauge anyway, so I'm going to have to mess around with needle sizes no matter what. So it's just going to end up being a little bit of a denser fabric than was originally intended, but it'll just be a warm sweater, so that's fine. I'm also using, the 2 different yarns I'm using is Le Petit Lamb's Wool from Biche and Bouche, which I've already made a sweater out of. It was the green sweater with all the different kind of variations. I used a bunch of threads in it. And this is 100% wool. And then I am also going to be holding it double with this discontinued yarn from Mimi Plus called Lotus Yarns. It has mink, viscose, cashmere, and wool in it. So I thought that would be, I got this from Tuesday Morning, and if you have Tuesday Mornings in your state, go. They have random amounts of discounted yarn, and I'm obsessed with it. But this will be my main color, held double. I'm interested to see kind of like what the balance between these 2 will be once I start knitting it. So that swatch will be super exciting. And then for my kind of grid lines, it's going to be this leftover Petite Lambswool skein from that green sweater that I made, held double with this mohair, just because other parts of the sweater are going to have like fluffy qualities to it. So I thought that, and more bulk, so I wanted to add a little bit of bulk to the gridline section just so it wouldn't be completely different gauge, but it's like single stripes every few rows, so I'm not too concerned. I'm really excited to start that pattern because I'm obsessed with the color green. Yes. Also, everything that Chantal makes, she's the Flying Yak on Instagram, is incredibly just amazing. The way her brain works it blows my mind every time. And her wife helps her like knit samples, and I'm like, relationship goals, question mark. But she also has another sweater out that's on it's a cardigan, but it's on my list of things to do. I didn't pack any yarn for it. But there is called Hands, and it kind of has a yoke that wraps around your neck, and it has I'll pop in a picture here instead of me trying to describe it, but look, isn't it beautiful? So that's gonna be fun. And check out everything she has, because honestly her work is incredible. And then the second sweater I packed to work on is gonna be the Starcrossed, I think it's just called the Starcrossed sweater by Jacqueline Sizek. Yeah, just called Starcrossed, and pop a picture in there. I'll actually pop a picture in the person who's kind of like the color choices really inspired me. So I've knit my swatch for that. Of course the gauge is off, so I'll have to, I'm not knitting a swatch, let's have to change needle sizes and go for it once I start knitting the main thing. But this yarn is super special to me. It's local yarn from a farm actually only 20 minutes south of where I am now. I bought it at the New England Fiber Festival that was in Boston earlier this year with the intention of making this sweater from it. It's a mixture of merino and rambouillet, I think. It's a blend between 2 different sheep, and they don't dye their yarn. It's the natural, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say hide, but that's not, it's their natural wool colors. So a nice gray and a nice white, and it's super rusticy feeling. I'm going to make a turtleneck out of it, and especially in the summer, it's a little bit scratchy next to skin, but I know in winter it's going to be amazing, because hopefully I land somewhere where winter will actually be useful, which in Florida it is not. But that's going to be super fun. And then the last big project like, I guess, true project that I'm planning on doing is, as I check my notes again, the color Quadrant cap by James and Watts. I also love his designs. He's a hoot and a half to follow on Instagram if you don't already. But this are the colors that I do believe I have chosen for this hat. So it's knit in targe, which I've never knit in targe before, so that'll be really fun to do. Just trying to see if I can do it or not. And it's a beanie, and this is fingering weight, and the pattern's in DK, so it'll be held double, so it'll go super fast. But I'm jazzed. Looking at it now, that silver it's also fingering weight, but it has cashmere in it, so it's a bit shinier. So I'm not sure how I feel about that looking into the camera, but I really do love these other three colors for sure. I was trying to find a more neutral color to go with it. Let me know what y'all think. I mean, it's gonna be like a insane fall hat. It's gonna make no sense. It's look at all these colors together, but I'm excited, and that's all that matters. And that is in my cute little the wind strikes again. Knitwit Yarn Shop bag from last year. They just released this year's design a few weeks ago. I haven't bought it yet, and I forget what it actually is, but I do remember it being cute. They partner with an artist every year to do a custom design for their in-house bag. They have totes, but then they also have like a special shaped bag every year. This year it's not the same kind of like small handbag. I think it's a little bit bigger, but that is something you should check out for sure. What else has been going on in my life? I have been watching a lot of YouTube, per the usual. I'm a big fan of like food travel television. I also love like documentaries. I watched all the episodes of PBS Eons on YouTube a few weeks ago, and that's just all about natural history. So that goes back to like Precambrian, like, you know, billions of years ago, and it's actually really puts things into perspective. For me, it's kind of something I've been thinking about, because, you know, the Earth is billions and billions of years old. Humans have barely been alive for maybe 40,000 years, and, you know, we didn't really have civilizations until like a few thousand before, you know, what we call 0 BC. And so, you know, it's interesting to me now, because you hear people talking about like different, I guess, politics or anything to do with how the world is run or made, and or the even just climate and stuff. And it's, oh, this is how it's always been, or I've never seen something like that. It's like, well, humans have been tracking things for not that long. Like 2,000 years is absolutely nothing compared to like the scape of, you know, the time continuum of how things are alive. Like, there's still time for us to make mistakes and change and grow. And I'm on a soapbox right now, but it's how I feel, and I find it really, it's interesting. To kind of think about it in an abstract sort of way. I'm not a huge abstract thinker. I'm very practical. I like to do things that are more tangible, but this is something that's been kind of caught up in my mind for a bit. Another thing that I have been really enjoying is the author N.K. Jemisin. I'll put her name here. Absolutely amazing. So the first book I ever read of hers was The 100,000 Kingdoms. I picked that up about 2 years ago. I've read it like 4 times, and that's actually part of a trilogy, and I've never read the second or third book because I loved the first book so much. I didn't want to go on to the second book and be disappointed. But, you know, I was talking to a friend, and he was telling me that, oh, you know, I was reading another book written by her, Broken Earth, and I was like, oh, I think I have that book in my collection. So I ran over to my bookshelf, and I pulled it off, and I, you know, read it in 2 days, and it's a separate series called the Broken Earth series, and the first book in that is called The Fifth Season, but amazing. It's, if you like world building, fantasy, magic, it is the best book I have ever read, honestly. And extra amazing about it is the author is a Black woman, and all of her characters in the book are pretty much Black, and it's really cool. It's super trans and queer inclusive as well. I'm currently on the last book. This is the second book in the Broken Earth series called The Obelisk Gate, and then the last book is called Stone Sky. The other series of her that I'm reading is called The Inheritance Trilogy. First book is 100,000 Kingdoms, then it's Broken Kingdoms, and then the third book is The Kingdom of Gods. So that will be the series that I'll read after I finish the Broken Earth trilogy, which I'm on the last book now, and I don't want to finish it. Like, there's so many plot twists that are happening and will happen. Each book just feels like it's just an absolute roller coaster. If you want everyone to talk to me about these books, please hit me up. Or if you have any fantasy book recommendations that have really good world building, that is way up my alley. So please hit me up with that. Looking around to see if there's anything else that I've forgotten. No, not really. I really just wanted to take some time to, check back in with y'all and connect again. This is something that brings me really great joy. If you've been following me on Instagram, which I'm really active on Instagram, at Caitlin Hirschler, same name, same title, same whatever spelling. But I've moved around a lot over the past, 2.5 years. I haven't had a job last more than a year since I graduated college. I mean, I'm only 25, so that's not the biggest deal in the world. And the first job is because I left myself. I made that decision. So I'm not put upon or anything, but it's, when you're moving states a lot, you don't have the opportunity to create really close groups of friends in person. And those are harder to maintain when you travel or when you move. You can totally keep them, and it just takes work. But it's difficult. So my circle of Instagram friends have really been my rock for the past few years, and the friends who who you are in my life. So it's not like I have to call you guys out individually. You know that you're special to me. But I forget where this tangent was going. Oh, I think I just want to say, like, it's connecting with you guys is something that's extremely important to me. Not to be a higher than or holier than thou, but just to be a real person that you see on the internet. That's something that's really, really important to me. I am a total mess and a half. I don't disguise any part of my personality. I am not going to edit out all the times my camera fell over earlier today. Yeah, so just kind of wanted to give you a check-in, kind of, in general. Also, random health update, if that's interesting to you. I know that a lot of people suffer from chronic illness and chronic pain. And so that's one of the things that I try to bring awareness to and just try to be as real as possible about. I do manage to keep down a full-time job, but I am in pain almost every single day. Some days are better than others, and most days where I'm working and it's a full schedule and my colon is healthy, I'll be fine until I go to bed, and I take some painkillers at night and it's totally fine. But I've been flaring really badly this entire summer, and stress of losing my job, stress of living in a world that it's a pandemic, and I started flaring really, really bad again. I have ulcerative colitis, which is a incurable autoimmune disease that your body attacks its own colon. So I've had to go in several times to the hospital this summer to get a couple procedures done. We were trying to figure out, what was wrong. I was scoped a few times this past year and they weren't able to find anything, which for me was really scary because, I had my initial diagnosis, and if they can't find anything, what if it was wrong? But luckily this past scope that I did a few weeks ago showed active disease, which, it's not good, but it confirms my diagnosis, so that makes me happy. We still haven't figured things out. I'm going to have to switch meds again while I'm moving, so that's going to be really stressful. Medical stuff always is. It's never easy. Even when it is, it's not, but I'm in a better place now, and super excited to see where the next 6 months brings me, whether that's in Wisconsin, Rhode Island, or even in Florida. There's so many things that I can get into no matter what. I'm excited to move on to the next portion of my life. And I guess once that happens, I will check in with y'all again, maybe if I get my shit together. But I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time today to come out and chat with me. I hope you got something out of it. If not, tough luck, bud. Tough luck. Bye, y'all. Have an amazing week.